Hello and welcome to this extended Slardar guide. There's a much shorter version if you're just interested in like a quick overview for 5 minutes. Then you can watch the video linked below. But this is going to be an extended guide and we're going to go in depth and in detail on how to play Slardar. We're going to start with the laning stage. So there are two options to start your lane, either with these items or with these items, depending on whether you need a stick in your lane or if you do not need a stick. In each scenario you want to go into a bracer and then into power threads and then finish with a blink. This is basically every single game, one of these two starting items, starting builds, and then these three items in order. During the lane you want to start with your crush and then go bash, crush, bash, and on level 5 you want to level Guardian Sprint just to be able to close the gap. There are a bunch of scenarios where you want to go with your starting items and then don't finish the bracer and just get brown boots first and then go back to the bracer and then finish threads. Because brown boots and movement speed is basically everything this hero needs, because you are a hero that goes in and out and tries to initiate and then leave the engagement again and try to get back in. This is true for the lane and for the game. So let's watch a lane that I played against an Ursa and a Disruptor. So Ursa is usually a pretty good laner, and between Ursa and Slardar it's kind of skill based, because both can heavily damage the other hero and both have kill potential on each other. So it's quite an interesting lane. So the first thing to learn is that you always want to wait for level 2 to go fight in the lane. With your stun and your bash you do have definitely some kill and harass potential. Before you bash it's not really useful to trade with the enemy. So what you're gonna see me do is try to aggro the wave away towards my range creep and just chill and play for my level 2. So we're not trying to trade, I'm pulling the wave back, I'm avoiding the Ursa, and I'm looking to get my second level, which we now got. So now that we have level 2 we can start hitting the Ursa, because we now have the threat of our bash into stun or stun into bash. So see, whenever I do have bash I walk towards the Ursa and try to force him away from the lane. And when I don't have bash I'm just chilling. I'm not trying to get get my stacks by hitting the creeps. I'm playing the lane very normally, only going for the last hits, trying to control it, keep it with me. But whenever I do have a third stack, I'm definitely willing to fight. Like here, my third stack is on the way, and Ursa jumps into me. So I hit once more, go into a stun, and then just deal some damage. Afterwards I'm not trying to trade much more. So he engages, and I deal some damage to him, and then afterwards I'm just willing to kind of leave, be fine with this trade. And if you do this a couple of times it definitely opens up windows to get some kills. Also Ursa is still a threat to me, so I keep playing the lane carefully. Again, creep aggro back to my creeps and then hit him with a bash. Also, Slardar is an aggressive laner, but there's no reason to not play the lane as close to your tower as possible. Your actual Powerspike will be level 6. With level 6 you will be able to drive out almost every carry hero in your lane. So you can just play the lane pretty chill and use your bash to threaten some damage. Also, if you have 3 bash stacks, don't be afraid to use the bash to get a last hit. You always want to prioritize last hits over like a bash hit, because bash hits are fine, but in the end you want to try and get as rich as possible as early as possible. Also in this lane I did go for the boots first, because Ursa again is definitely one of the heroes that can kill Slardar just by running him down. So the boots are quite necessary to just be able to run away. Now on level 5, I level the Guardian Sprint to be able to close the gap between me and any low heroes. And here we see an opportunity. Ursa's coming to my lane while Hutch is joining, and I'm willing to like punch into him a bit. But also, like as soon as he pops his overpower, I run away for a second just to re-engage a second later. Gets us a kill here, and now we have Corrosive Haze. So I'm not gonna play defensive anymore and keep the wave controlled at my tower. I'm now gonna start pushing into their tower, trying to break the tower by either driving the carry away or killing them. I'm also kind of looking around the map, maybe TPing bottom, but I actually want to be top and kill the tower. So go push and force his spells. So he jumped me and I can turn on him, knowing that he still has ult, so he can't actually kill him. So I disengage. And now after ult, I just wait for my next bash onto him, and then he definitely dies. Again, notice how often I run at him just to disengage for a second. So I'm running at him, and then he turns and I run away, and then I go back in and finish the kill. If you engage like this, you obviously need to be kinda aware of what's happening on the map, because like a hero could be TPing here and kill you, so it's not always free to dive the tower like this, but it is ultimately the plan. And this is what you're gonna do until this tower breaks, and then you're gonna keep occupying the area on the top half of the map until you have blink. So your laning stage is actually as long as you don't have blink. As soon as you have blink, your game plan is definitely gonna change. So you're gonna see how I just stand on this lane where nobody can really contest me. And I kill the Ursa again because he came too close. At one point I'm looking mid and trying to TP because it looks like an engagement. But he dies, and I actually cancel the TP to stay top and kill this tower, while aggressively farming the waves. And now I have blink on the courier. So I wait for it to come, and I'm already looking on the map. You see how I ran towards the river, getting my blink here, considering if I would be joining mid. Now the engagement mid has already been done. So with the blink, I'm going to jump Ursa, pop his enrage, kite the enrage, and then run back. Also, another thing here is after kiting the enrage, I run after him, and I actually kind of keep my distance because my blink is coming off cooldown, and I don't want him to cancel my blink or anything. So I keep my distance so I can jump back in and finish the kill. Now that I have blink, you will see that my game style changes. Instead of playing on the top area of the map and controlling it, I'm gonna run through the map, always hunting for a kill. A Slardar can always fight. If you are reasonably healthy and you have blink off cooldown, you can definitely fight. And in this game, there's actually not that much that's gonna happen. I actually fail an engagement. But so this is where we are in the mid game, where your job is to run around the map, push a wave, get a third wave. There was 3 waves because nobody can contest me top. And now with the blink, I'm gonna look for something. Look for a Weaver here. Find a kill on the top side. Back to a wave. Back on the hunt. Nobody found, so take a wave. and go hunt. So this fight is interesting to look at. We kinda lost the engagement already because Corp is dead, but I have Blink and they are still chasing, and I can blow Disruptor up pretty quickly. And now after I kill Disruptor, see how I'm not sticking around hitting anyone. I'm actually running away and not crossing the ice wall as well, because my Blink, 5 seconds of cooldown, and I walk around, and now I have Blink again and I can jump into this Invoker, find another kill. And it works out. So let's quickly summarize what we have done so far. In the laning stage, you're gonna get level 6 and then drive out the enemy carry. And you do this until you have Blink, and as soon as you have Blink, you're gonna hunt through the map while taking waves on the way and immediately hunting afterwards. Within the fight, you want to jump in and deal the damage with your Bash and Slithering Crush and Corrosive Haze, and then you want to get to the outskirts of the fight, where you can throw Corrosive Haze on heroes, give information, give more damage to your team effectively because they have less armor, and wait for your next Blink initiation, where you can jump in, get another kill, then again disengage until you can engage again. Right after this fight, see how I'm perfectly healthy and willing to look for something again. Here we go, take a wave. More juicy waves. But also, I didn't defensively walk back here. I aggressively walked through here, so that if like I found a support warding here, he definitely dies. Now this I actually dislike. This is pretty defensive. I do get it. Let's actually see where the enemies are. They are in the area, and they do have Blink, so you can consider it. But as a Slardar, I would like to actually be taking these two camps and have Queen of Pain behind me and Undying behind me. And if they join me, like, this is definitely an easy fight for us to take. So I'm deciding to stay a little defensive here. Debatable. But now that I have my team, absolutely willing to fight again. We'll find a Strangler. And I don't think we find the Weaver. No. But so we just want to fight, and I'm back to a wave. And we jump in, and we get back out again. We get glimpsed out, but we can jump back in. Yeah, so this is the name of the game with Slardar. Let's look at some item decisions. There's like, I called it defensive, but defensive is never really right with Slardar. Slardar is always an aggressive hero. But there's like a more defensive build and a more aggressive build. The more defensive build is Echo Sabre after your Blink into BKB, then maybe Aghanims, potentially Octarine Core, or finishing and Harpoon. Echo Sabre just feels amazing with Slardar. It makes you reasonably tanky, gives you a reasonable amount of mana, and you get your bashes much quicker, which actually makes a huge difference on Slardar. So if you don't really know what to buy, you always go Echo Sabre. Echo Sabre is the item for Slardar, most definitely. And then BKB is also mostly needed in games, even though you can maybe consider getting S and Y instead. But so Echo and BKB, if you would do this every game, it will probably mostly work. I would also highly suggest Shard. I put it on the aggressive utility side because sometimes you have games where you just go Echo Sabre into BKB. But if you can get a Shard in between and go Echo Sabre Shard and then BKB, it's really good. Shard allows you to farm camps, which you can't really do before. And it does also increase your damage quite a bit. Also against heroes such as Weaver, it's pretty good because you catch them in their invisibility. When you don't quite catch them and then they go invis and you have an idea where they are, you blink and stun. It gives you vision because your Shard allows your stun to apply Corrosive Haze. So it does much more damage for your fights, and it kind of allows you to farm. So I would suggest you buy a shard if possible. More aggressively, you can just go Orchid after Blink, which definitely allows you to solo kill some heroes. And later I'm going to show you a game where I do go Orchid and why. It's an item that you can go when you have a pretty good lane. Because stat-wise, those are worse stats than Echo Sabre, and it is more expensive. But in some situations, it allows you to actually kill a hero and give you more utility than you would with Echo Sabre. Even if you do Echo Sabre, you want to consider BKB still. And yeah, then on the aggressive side, there's definitely such a thing as AC or Nullifier if needed. And on the defensive side, you can go Aghanims and then technically also Octarine Core, because your stun is going to be on very low cooldown and very effective, making you very hard to kill. If you are a tanky Slardar, that's pretty nice to have, because you're not tanky by nature. You get tanky by items and by levels. So Slardar being definitely susceptible to being bursted down, which is why you always need to jump in and then run back out and then jump back in. With Aghanim's Octarine Core, you're very sustainable and much freer to consider how you want to move in a fight. Let's quickly look at the skill build stuff. So this in German Beintraining, but leg day is the facet you want to always take, because it allows you to not be slowed for 2.5 seconds at the start of Guardian Sprint, which is very useful. And in the talent tree, there is, for the first talent, really no debating, but also you want to skip the first talent, because the 2-second Guardian Sprint is much worse than just leveling your Guardian Sprint and getting less cooldown on it. Let's actually look at how much this cooldown. It is 4-second cooldown reduction with each Guardian Sprint levels. And more Guardian Sprint duration is technically also just a reduction of cooldown by 2 seconds. So you just would much rather level Guardian Sprint than level this level 10 talent. So you're going to skip level 10, and at level 15 you can level the health and then afterwards go for the sprint duration. If you have a very good game, you can also go for 40 bash damage on level 15, but as we already just talked about, you are really not that tanky at the start of the game, so 300 health, that is a very good level 15 talent. And since you usually don't really lack damage on Slardar, more survivability, I suggest you go for the 300 health. On level 20, I always go for the Slithering Crush damage, because it allows you to one-shot creep waves at some point, and then again, your Crush is it's the ability that actually allows you to control Teamfight. So having more damage on your Crush is definitely the thing that you want to go for. On level 25, it's kind of debatable. I always go Corrosive Haze, being undispellable against Manta heroes or like any dispel heroes. Against Oracle maybe, who can dispel his teammates. Because like not being able to get rid of this Corrosive Haze can be very painful. But sometimes that's not really a problem, like people dispelling Corrosive Haze, and you can just go minus 3-second Crush cooldown together with an Octarine Core and Aghanims. You have like insane Slithering Crushes every like 2 to 3 seconds, something like that. And it's a huge amount of control as well. So this I kind of like to change up every game. But mostly you probably want to go undispellable, because there's the chance that you have a hero that does have Manta style in the enemy team pretty high. So now talking about Orchid. This game I crushed my lane. I'm 5-2, and the Juggernaut kind of had a tough lane, dying 5 times. So I decided to go Orchid here, because I thought that it would enable me to kill Queen of Pain solo, Disruptor solo, Juggernaut solo, and Shaman solo. So my Orchid is a kill potential for every single hero. Also, 2 of these heroes have ways to like get away, or at least temporarily get away from me jumping on top of them, which is co-op with the blink, obviously. And Juggernaut, not so much with the spin, but if he ulties, like, I obviously can't hit him during that time. So Orchid has like a bunch of uses. Also, if I jump Disruptor, he maybe can glimpse me, but at this point I might actually kill him before he's able to. Either way, I decided to go Orchid here, and we're gonna see it paying off immediately as I jump this guy and kill him off with an Orchid. It's a game that went pretty well. You can see how much map control we actually have. We like warded this entire area and now are swinging down here, so the enemies actually like are either farming up here or are sitting in a base. Which would actually be interesting to see. Yeah, they're kind of sitting behind the base. We do have co-op farming down here. Who's actually about to die to me, maybe? Let's see. No. Didn't find him. But me having Orchid, it's like definitely kill potential. So I'm not really afraid of them damage-wise, and I think I can kill them most of the time, which I do here yet again with an Orchid. So this time Orchid feels really good. Also paying off for the Disruptor. I could in fact not kill him before being glimpsed, so the Orchid helped to get the kill here. So at this point I'm basically a menace. Everybody I find solo absolutely dies except for Tide, so they always have to play as a team, and this is definitely very desirable if you have so much map control and winning the game already. If they now have to play as a team, like they cannot split up and have like 2 people farming on the edges of the map. They have to be like clumped up together, and that is a very efficient farm for them. So very happy for me. So this is the thing, I think if you can buy an Orchid, it should be a game that you would also win with an Echo Sabre. If I had an Echo Sabre here, I probably couldn't have gotten all the kills I got so far. But it would still be pretty strong and hard to kill and still do a lot of damage. The thing is, you don't really farm on Slardar. You don't really have a farming tool, so you need to get kills. That's why you need to itemize to get them. If you're not so sure, just go Echo Sabre, that's fine. And then, yeah, kill the enemy, get the tower, run around with your blink, find some kills. Don't overextend. Be like annoying, be like in and out and in and out. So I'm hoping this was somewhat helpful. And hope you enjoy playing the hero. I love it, and good luck to you guys.